Welcome back to Your Yankee Chronicle, coming to you from Spring Ledge Farm here in New London. I'm your host, Abby Peel. One of the precious gifts we have in our region are the many lakes and ponds. The quality of these bodies of water are always being challenged. David Goddard of the Lake Sunapee Yacht Club has some thoughts.
Yeah, the club is over 100 years old. Started in 1902, and actually it was across the lake from where we are today. Started in Sunapee Park, and it was a group of folks that wanted the ability to have organized sailing and competition on the lake and promote yachting. And as needs grew, the club eventually purchased the land that we're on today in 1924. There's a number of committees that really support the success of our club, from folks that put in tremendous hours just to make sure the place looks beautiful through plantings, and we're taking care of our lake by trying to reduce some of the runoff with our plantings. We have a set of bylaws, and within that, the bylaws, we have a section solely dedicated to what is the purpose of the club. And we talk about supporting yachting on Lake Sunapee, promoting that. We talk about having a clubhouse that promotes social activities. And our third out of the three purpose statements is to be good stewards of our lake and work to preserve the quality of the water. And over the years, we've seen changes. We have a beautiful location here, and about 10 years ago, I noticed that this small lagoon where we launch our boats would turn a little bit greenish when we had heavy rain. And we discovered that some of the green was the result of a bluestone driveway that we had. I talked to the Commodore, who was actually in charge of putting in the bluestone driveway, and he said, "Dave, we did that back when acid rain was a big concern in New England, and we thought that bluestone would help capture some of the acid that was coming in the rainwater. So that's why our driveway and parking lot was all bluestone." And I said, "Tom, it's turning the lagoon green." And he said, "I had no idea that, the engineering at the time said this makes sense for the environment." So now the engineering at the time says, boy, bluestone rubs together, it makes some really fine elements that are getting into our lagoon and turning it green. So now we have a paved parking lot. Wholly counterintuitive. I never would have guessed that a paved parking lot was cleaner than a bluestone. But what it turns out is, with all the wooded area around us, the water coming into our parking lot is clean. So let it run freely across the parking lot, and then on the other side of the parking lot we have more plantings to trap anything that came out, and we actually have cleaner water and no longer have a lagoon that turns green. So we've been pretty active in looking at how we can be good stewards of our lake and preserving that water quality. We've always had fireworks at the yacht club. And even a few members, when I announced that we were going to have drones replacing our incendiary fireworks, so we'll still have a show, but it's going to be a drone show instead of fireworks, a few folks certainly got after me, saying, I love fireworks. There's 100 years of history of fireworks at the yacht club, and I appreciate that. And I have a couple of thoughts on it. One is, the incendiary fireworks, whether it's launching them or the explosion or the colors that they produce or the gases, that's stuff we breathe, that's stuff that falls into the lake, and many of it is toxic. So I can't say that the drone show this year is purely a result of my passion for the environment. I have to admit, we had a company scheduled to do a fireworks show, and they did not have availability to do a show, so I had to look for an alternative. I happened to come into looking into the idea of drones, and as I learned about them, it suddenly clicked. And the way it clicked for me was thinking about when I was a kid. My mom used to smoke, and people had been smoking for ages. And I can remember going to visit my grandparents, and my grandfather's Volvo sedan smelled like cigars. And if I smell that today, a cigar, I smile and think of my grandfather. And for years, there were no Surgeon General warnings. Nobody ever tied smoking and cancer together in official studies. But you'd hear somebody coughing, and everybody kind of knew something's related smoking to that cough. And I find the same thing with the fireworks, is that there are studies out now, actually, a few, but it's not talked about a lot. And we are able to change, and our beliefs in smoking have changed, and I believe we're saying the same thing with fireworks, is that we can still celebrate our Independence Day, and we don't have to put pollutants in the lake in order to do that. In fact, I was talking to the provider of our drone show, and they happened to mention there's a lot of things about a drone show that are very much American. For example, all of the drones that we're using are made in America. The pilot, so we're going to have 300 drones to simulate this show. Both pilots are ex-US Air Force, 20-year members in the Air Force, and now they're piloting 300 drones. I'm just excited. Something seems so American to it. I appreciate that people love fireworks. I love fireworks. If you're a loon, you're going to celebrate that there's no fireworks this year. If you're a dog, maybe you know dogs that go nutty with the fireworks, they're going to be pretty excited. If you're a veteran with PTSD, come enjoy our show. We are going to simulcast it with music, and you'll be able to listen to it at whatever level you're comfortable with. So there's more than just the chemical pollutants, the debris that washes up on the shores, or the debris that we try to ignore because it sinks into our lake. But there's some other benefits as well, and it's been really interesting to sort of navigate this change at our club.
Thank you, David. Please keep in mind all the ways you can help preserve our beautiful waterways. The Lake Sunapee Protective Association has some great resources to learn more. We'd like to thank our host location these last 2 weeks, Spring Ledge Farm. Their farm's growth and success over the years continues to be a team effort and is highly dependent on the help of all the crews. Join us next week from Prospect Hill Antiques for another edition of your Who, What, Where, and When show of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region. Thanks again to Greg and his great crew here at Spring Ledge Farm for hosting us. This is another great local business that supports your Yankee Chronicle. I'm Abby Peel. Join us next week at this same time.
This program is supported by H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating. Their full-service model offers oil delivery, propane, motor fuels with design, installation, service, and maintenance of all types of oil, gas, and alternative energy systems, as well as air conditioning, water conditioning systems, and their highly trained and friendly staff will assist you throughout the process of buying, installing, and servicing a full line of energy products. H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating. Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire since 1997, with roots going back much further as the country press, AccuMail, and the home of the Kearsarge shopper. Echo Communications. Main Street Bookends of Warner, for books, toys, games, cards, gifts, and a gallery of local art. Main Street Bookends of Warner. The Innertown Record, your weekly hometown community newspaper covering the Kearsarge Sunapee Sunshine region of New Hampshire. The Innertown Record.